We hear about compound interest a lot when talking about our finances, but this also works the same way when it comes to building momentum in our business or any other area of our lives, really. Hey, CEO fam, welcome to the CEO desk with Brianna Marie. I'm coming at you today from my actual CEO desk as usual. And today we're talking about something that's been on my heart lately because I keep seeing so many of you saying you're spinning your wheels, doing all the things, checking all the boxes, and still feeling stuck. And I get it because I've been there too. You're following the courses, you're showing up consistently, you're doing what the experts say, but the results are just not matching the effort. And before you start thinking there's something wrong with you or that success wasn't meant for you, pause, because what I'm about to share might just change your entire perspective. Let's talk about it. Here's the thing I wish I had known earlier because ultimately it would have saved me a ton of time, money, and energy. Sometimes you are doing the right things. You're just not doing them often enough, consistently enough, or long enough to see the results you want. We live in this instant gratification world where we expect to post once and go viral, launch once and sell out, or try a strategy for 2 weeks and become an overnight success. But that's not how building a sustainable business works, especially for us moms already juggling a gazillion things. So, for example, I would try something for a few months, not see the results I wanted, and immediately think, this just doesn't work, and jump to the next shiny strategy. And then I go to the next thing and work real hard on that. And when that doesn't work, after a little while, I was like, well, not this either. On to the next. But eventually I discovered that it's not about working harder. It's about aligning yourself with the right opportunities and then having the patience, discipline, and consistency to let the results grow over time. We hear about compound interest a lot when talking about our finances, but this also works the same way when it comes to building momentum in our business or any other area of our lives, really. Make sense? Repetition builds confidence. Every time you show up, every time you test something, every time you put yourself out there, even if it doesn't go perfectly, you're taking a step in the right direction because even if it doesn't work out in the end, you should at least be able to walk away with some really great lessons and increased wisdom. I used to think that I had to feel confident before I took action, but it's actually the opposite. Action creates confidence, testing creates clarity, and clarity creates alignment. For those of us who drive, think about the process of learning to drive. We didn't read one manual and become a perfect driver. We practiced in parking lots, made mistakes, adjusted, practiced some more. Same thing applies to your business and your life in general. And speaking of building that CEO confidence, if you haven't already and you're a mom interested in creating or growing a business and teaching your kids to do the same, I want you to join my 1 Million CEOs newsletter where I share my weekly CEO insights and behind the scenes of what's really working in my own business. The link is in the description. But let's dig a little deeper because this is another area where a lot of people get stuck. So let me just say this. It really is important to address those underlying blocks because you may be making the right moves, but maybe you're not remaining consistent for reasons outside of not seeing immediate results. How many times have you sabotaged your own success because deep down you were afraid of what people might think, or afraid you would outgrow certain relationships, or afraid you couldn't handle the responsibility that comes with the next level? Well, this is why it's so important to become a scientist of the self and a scientist of your life, because as you test and modify until you find something that does work, you also tend to get better at recognizing those underlying fears. You tend to get better at recognizing those things that are only slowing you down. Because ultimately, the real work isn't just in the strategy and tactics, though those matter. The real work is in becoming the person who can receive and sustain the success you're creating. I talk about this in a little bit more detail in my previous video. I'll link it here for you to check it out if you're interested. These are things I also like to discuss in our Discord community, not just talking surface level business tips, but addressing the whole CEO mindset. So if you're a fellow mom, come join us over there. The link is in the description. And all right, here's your challenge for the week. Pick one thing you've been wanting to test or try in your business or personal growth. Maybe it's posting video content. Maybe it's that service you've been thinking about offering. Maybe it's setting a boundary you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, commit to testing it for the next 30 days. Document what you learn, what works, what doesn't, and how you can tweak it. Then come back here and share your experience in the comments. Or if you're in our Discord community, you can share it over there as well. Because when you share your journey, you're encouraging others to test and grow as well. But before you go, I need you to remember this. Your version of CEO doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It doesn't have to be perfect, polished, or fit someone else's timeline. Your CEO journey gets to include testing, failing, adjusting, and trying again. It gets to include growing into the person who can handle whatever level of success you're building. Now, if this resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe for more real talks from the CEO desk, and I'll see you in the next one.